Hello there, my stamping friends. Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today, and today we're going to be using a spring mini catalog set called Enduring Beauty. So this catalog started on January 4th, I believe, and the set I'm using is this one here shown on page 38 and 39. So they call this one a mix and mask bundle. So there's a stamp set. There's coordinating dies, and then they have coordinating masks where you can add different shading to different elements of the stamped image. So if masking is something you wanted to try with our blender brushes or with your sponge daubers, this might be a fun bundle for you to look at maybe getting. And here are some of the samples that they show in the catalog. So they did some white heat emboss on a plain panel here and then dressed it up with some ribbon and a tag. Here they've done some background stamping and then cut out with die cut the big flower image, right, and offset the background. This one's one of those mini cards and it's just done with the masks. And then you get an idea here where they're using the masks to shade in various elements of the project until you get down to the final one that's got variegated coloring. So that's just a quick peek about the catalog. If you don't have a current catalog, you reach out to me and I'm happy to send you one for choosing me as your demonstrator. So I'm happy to do that. And of course you can see them all online. Just use the link below to the store and then you can see this and other samples that they have shared there. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick and simple card for you. An easy layout. I'm actually doing this for a demo swap with my demo group, and joining as a demonstrator during celebration is wonderful as well. There's extra bonus of our new glass crafting mat for a new demonstrator sign up. So if you're interested in that, reach out, and I have more information on my website at pumpkinhillstamper.com for you to look into that. And if you have any questions, you can just reach out with my contact form, and I'm happy to answer questions for you about that. Okay, so I'm using soft seafoam as my base card for today. I'm kind of doing a green monochromatic card. Okay, I've got soft seafoam, garden green, and then basic white. And I'm going to do stamping. I'm going to do some dry embossing, some heat embossing, and we're just going to dress it all up. Okay, so I'm going to start with my stamping. Now, the Stamparatus was retired, and then there was a frenzy for those of you who didn't have them. So if you have them, I say use it. If you don't have one, then you need to use one of our larger blocks for this stamping. But I'm going to use mine because even though it's retired, I have one and I really like using it. So I'm going to put my cardstock in. Let me see if that placement is right. Nope, it needs to be moved over a little bit. I usually mark on my grid sheet where it needs to go underneath, but I didn't this time. Okay, so that'll work. So I'm just going to put one magnet there and another one here, and while I've got it down, I'm just going to mark this corner so I know where to put my next one, because like I said, I'm doing demo swaps, so I'm going to be making a dozen or more of these to share with my fellow demonstrators. And in exchange, I'll get back 12 different samples that I can then share on my newsletter. So if you haven't gotten signed up for my newsletter yet, use those links below as well. And then you can see all the demo swaps that I get in exchange for the cards I send out. Okay, so I'm just stamped up my stamp with my garden green ink, and I flip it over and I press it down to stamp the image. Okay, just got a nice firm press, and that was one of the lovely tricks of this tool for those of you who did pick them up before they were retired, is that if you didn't get a great image, you could just stamp it again because everything stayed put. But it did stamp just fine. Now, I am going to heat emboss this with clear embossing powder. So if you stamp in a colored ink and then you dust it with clear powder and then heat set it, it'll give you just a little bit of shine over your ink color. And then if you wanted to do any kind of coloring with blends or markers or whatnot, the ink is set underneath the heat emboss. So bear with me while I go ahead and heat set this onto my cardstock. large image with fine detailing, so I wanted to make sure that I got all of that clear embossing powder heat set, and I think I did. Okay, so that's going to be my focal image. So then I'm just going to layer one rectangle on top of another, on top of another. So this is just stepping in each layer. Okay, so my basic card is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Then I've got another one stepped in at 5 by 4 1/4, which is a basic layer for myself. But I'm going to dress this one up. I embossed a panel already with one of the basic 3Ds folder because I just wanted a little bit of texture in the background instead of just a flat panel. So that's one way you can step up this card, okay? And then I'm going to take this die cut, and with my paper snips, I'm going to trim it out. Now, I'm going to save you the time with that, but you just take your paper snips and you just fussy cut around the edge. Or if you splurge and go ahead and get your coordinating dies, you can use the die on your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and die cut it quickly. Okay, I did not splurge on the dies because I'm on a budget. Many of you are on a budget too. So this one was a large enough image that I thought I don't really need the large die for that. I can trim that out on my own. So I trimmed that out on my own before we started the video. So now I've got my monochromatic theme here. I've got my light green, my dark green, and then my green and white image. Okay, now I'm going to dress this up with sentiment. So I have a piece of scrap white paper, and with my sentiments from Enduring Beauty, I'm going to stamp the one that says Love Endures All Things. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp that with my green ink, my garden green ink, and I stamp that on my scrap of white. I hang on to all my scraps because you never know when you're going to want one. Alright, I'm going to trim that off, and then I'm just going to bubble cut these with my scissors. So I just come around the edges and trim it out. So then it won't be this big rectangle on my card, but rather a popped out sentiment. So I just come around. I called it bubble cut just because I leave a little bubble of white around it so that it's easy to read off the background of the card. Okay, so just one more letter, if I can get around the curve there. Okay, so there's that. So I've got my card, I've got my dry embossing, I have my heat embossed image, and I've got my sentiment that I'm going to put on there. One more thing I want to add is I'm just going to use white baker's twine. Okay, I'm going to double up my strand. Okay, so that's about, it's about 11 inches, probably more than I need. And I'm going to make 2 bunny ears, and I'm going to tuck my bow. Okay, I've got my bow, kind of untwist it there, and then you can adjust it for size before you cut it off. And then I'm just going to come down and trim all my ends at the same time so I have nice even ends. So now I have a nice thin decorative bow to use as well. Alright, let's put it all together. So I'm going to put my first layer on with liquid adhesive. I don't have one on my table, so I'm going to open one up real quick so it'll be nice fresh liquid adhesive for this. So on the back, I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive around my edges. And then I'm going to put this just stepped in, again, like I said, from the edge of my card all the way around. So a nice basic framing technique, okay? And just press that down to it here. Alright, now I'm going to use dimensionals and apply them to the back of my snipped out or die cut focal image. I have my mini dimensionals on the table, so that's what I'm using, but if you used our full-size ones, you maybe not need to use as many, but give it enough so that you support the image so it doesn't flop in the middle. That would be my only little suggestion there. Alright, so now to decide which way is up. I'm going to decide that this flower is up, so I'm going to put it like this. And I could go off kind of corner to corner. I'm going to go corner to corner, like here to here, okay? Corner to corner. And then I've got my sentiment, so I'm going to put that on dimensionals as well. I'm just going to use the edge of my dimensional strip for that. That makes that one simple. And so this is going to go, well, gee, I could go up there, but no, I'll go down here. I'll put it down here. So I'm just going to put that there, and then with a little tiny glue dot, I just open up my roll, spin it down until I find a blank, and then I put my bow on there, press into the glue dot, and then peel it up, and then you can just apply the bow wherever you want it added. So this one I think I'm going to add, well, I think I'm going to add it, maybe it's a little bigger than I want it. I'm going to add it right here, right over the top. So I kind of have two embellishments there at the bottom. And there you go, a nice, simply layered, die cut, heat embossed, dry embossed, with a little bow for embellishment card. So if you're interested in either joining Stampin' Up, please reach out and I'll help you with the process of signing up, or if you have any questions. If you're interested in doing some purchasing, please remember that I am a demonstrator, and if you purchase from me, I will send you a thank you kit in the mail. You can use my website, www.pumpkinhillstampers.com, to find my current host code. You can also sign up for my newsletter or contact me with my contact links below. Alright everybody, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of today's project, and I'll stamp again with you real soon. Have a great day.